Avogadro's number. So talking about converting between mass, moles, volume, and particles. So remember, the mole is your central unit. So if I'm wanting to go from mass to moles, remember the conversion factor for that is your molar mass. If I'm going from moles to particles, remember for particles, if you have just a single atom, it would be atoms. If you have a molecular compound, it would be molecules. If you have an ionic compound, it would be formula units. The value you're going to be using there, that is Avogadro's number. So 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. And then if I'm wanting to go from moles to volume, I can do that. There are 22.4 liters for every 1 mole, but I must be at STP, which is standard temperature and pressure. And so the temperature at standard temperature and pressure is 0 degrees Celsius, and the pressure is 1 atmosphere. So if I'm under those conditions, I can assume that 1 mole equals 22.4 liters. So the molar mass equals 1 mole. 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, either atoms, molecules, or formula units equals 1 mole, and then 22.4 liters equals 1 mole. So let's work on some conversion. So I'm given in this problem 0.5 moles of C6H12O6, which is glucose, and I'm asked to go into grams. Well, I want to get rid of moles, so I'm going to put it on bottom, and I want to get into grams. I need to use my molar mass. So in 1 mole, I need to calculate the molar mass of glucose is 180.156. And so what I'll do for my answer is I'm just going to take 0.5 and I'm going to multiply it by 180.156, and I will get my answer, which is 90 grams, because I want 1 sig fig. So we're now going to add a little bit on, and instead of just having one conversion, we're actually going to go, for example, from grams to formula units, which requires 2 steps. So I'm going to start off, I'm in grams of sodium sulfate, and in order to get into formula units, I need to get into moles first. So I'm going to put grams on bottom, and I'm going to put moles up top. Now I've got to put the molar mass of sodium sulfate on bottom, so it's 142.05. I'm now in moles of sodium sulfate, and I have to get into formula units. So I'm going to put moles on bottom, and I'm going to put formula units up top. Remember, you've got 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd formula units for every 1 mole. Okay? And now I can actually figure out how many formula units that is, and it's 1.93 times 10 to the 23rd formula units. Alright, so now instead of just doing one simple conversion from grams to moles or moles to grams, you now can go from grams into moles and then get into something else. What happens if instead I'm asking for the mass of, for example, iron, when I give you the mass of iron oxide? Well, I can do, it's extremely similar to what we just did, except now I've got to figure out how much iron is in that iron oxide, and in order to do that, I've got to use a mole-to-mole ratio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off in 25.0 grams of iron oxide. I'm going to get into moles of iron oxide. So I'm going to put grams on bottom and moles up top. 1 mole for every, now I got to put the molar mass of iron oxide, which is 159.7. Now I'm in moles of iron oxide. In order to figure out the mass of iron I need to get into moles of iron. So I'm going to put moles of iron oxide on bottom and moles of iron up top. If you look at the formula, for every 1 mole of iron oxide that you've got there, you've got 2 moles of iron. So it's a 2 there and a 1 there. Now I'm in moles of iron, and it's very easy for me to get into grams of iron. So I'm going to put moles on bottom and grams up top again. Got to put the molar mass of iron, which is 55.85 for every 1 mole of iron, and then I can get my answer, which is 17.5 grams.